Hey, welcome to Odd Musings, episode 195.
Woo-hoo.
Man, we're almost at 200.
I know. It's crazy.
That is
Very
nuts. Yeah.
What's
Checking
going on?
I know. I gotta get to it. I can figure out how to get these audio drops in here. Would be great. If they should have like an audio thing. You can just drop a little audio snippets every once in a while, so I can get Lisa going. I don't know what's going on here.
I don't even know. I love it.
Yeah.
That was such a fun night.
No, yeah. Hopefully, back to that stuff. I just saw today Texas, Mississippi, and Texas, Mississippi for sure are 100% going open and dropping the mask mandates. You know, of course, you can always wear a mask if you feel like you need to. No one ever said you couldn't. And then Florida's a little more open, so so we're starting to see it happen. You know, the southern states are warming up, are getting it, and we're even opening up a little more here. They've gone to a little more open in Michigan. We just got to get to where we can actually attend a ball game eventually here. So,
So, in the immortal words of Mel Gibson, freedom.
Yeah, we're getting there. But hey, before we get into everything today, let's start off taking care of a little bit. Let's start off with Loringer Family Chiropractic Center. Is their Facebook page there. You can definitely find them at Loringer Family Chiro on Facebook. And at Loringer Family Chiropractic Center PC, they take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. They are located in Belleville, Michigan and Dexter, Michigan. You can give them a call at 734-697-4244. You can visit them online at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com, or we have a link at oddmusings.com to make it a little bit easier for you. And you know, I've been a patient there for a long time. They do take great care of me, and that's part of the reason I've stayed very healthy especially this last year during this pandemic, because we are now coming about a week away before the anniversary of the 14-day shutdown. So,
Indeed.
Yeah, and then we're all sponsored by
Team Titans of Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though we put the latest in tools, technologies, social media to work to maximize your home buying and or selling experience, we never forget real estate is still a people business. And with that in mind, you know, we put your needs first, and we make it about knowing you, because you can't really take a cookie cutter approach to real estate. I mean, you can, but it's, you know, when you use a one size fit all approach, well, for some people the fit's too tight, and for others it's too loose. So we make it just right. But it's still it's interesting what's happening right now. The market is like I've been saying, it's a very intense, crazy seller's market where buyers are making crazy bids to get their houses because inventories are low. With that said, according to the industry magazines I'm reading, they are projecting that we are going to have a return to our normal cycles in real estate. And what that means is typically spring or Easter, depending when they fall and what the weather's doing. But a lot of times Easter is the dividing line where people say, I'm putting my house up for sale now. With how much prices have gone up over the last year, over 9% since January of last year, a lot of people they're projecting are going to decide to put their house up for sale. If that happens, we're going to see a big flood of listings in about 3-4 weeks from now. So with that in mind, if you're looking to sell your house, you may want to beat that rush because if it happens, that will negate the major bidding wars going on right now. So getting your house on the market now before the competition hits will be important. So give us a call, 586-549-6096. If you're thinking about selling in the next 1 to 2 months, putting it up now may be worth the money. Don't wait till the house is perfect. Don't wait to paint that other wall, because waiting those extra couple weeks may make the difference of tens of thousands of dollars, really, if the bidding wars are subsided. So give us a call, 586-549-6096, teamtitansofrealestate.com. We are here for you.
Fantastic. Well, like I say every week, I drive around Washtenaw County making my deliveries, and guess what? I see a house go up one day, and next day it has a sold sign. So it's definitely still a seller's market right now. So
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And I got the sun like in the perfect spot there, where it's like I'm like, God, I feel like Rocky Balboa
as I
dodging
noticed this
Ivan
morning,
Drago.
I noticed this morning having breakfast. As we're getting more towards spring, the sun angle's changing faster and faster every day. We're getting more sun every day. We're only a couple weeks away from having our spring equinox, so we'll definitely have 12 hours in that.
March 14th, we do our time change too. So we're only 11 days away. So the sun will be hitting me this way at the end of our show in 2 weeks.
Exactly. Good morning, Kevin. Kevin's joining us from somewhere in Indiana.
Kevin's in the effing house.
Yeah. Scott's bummed. He shared his image and then didn't get the proper response from Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin said
chat for Crimson Shadows 2.
Sweet. He said sweet, and I'm like, just sweet? I don't get the effing in it. we kid with Kevin.
Yeah,
he the F bomb to him is like a normal person's what?
He uses it like Samuel L. Jackson uses it.
There you go.
It's just like breathing. It's just there.
Inhale, exhale, the F bomb.
Yep.
Poor Kevin.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bummed about San Diego. It's not shocking news, but San Diego is now pushing out even farther, huh?
Well, I expected it only for the fact that last I heard, the facility itself wasn't even going to be ready,
right?
Until then. So I know they sent out to everybody there's a participant setting up that they're not going to have it this year. They're going virtual again, but they're talking about doing a November 3-day event. I don't know how much of an event it'll be. Probably won't be the big one, but it definitely would be nice to have something out there, especially in November. It'd be a nice time to go.
Definitely. If they do it, I'll definitely want to go. Based on the email they sent, I think Kevin's response. I think if we got into San Diego, the normal San Diego show, that we will have the opportunity to do the November show. Yes. So if that's true, I definitely want to go. I would love to go and do that there. I have a feeling it'll probably be more like a WonderCon then, because they won't have the massive Hollywood presence, I would think, that they usually have for San Diego Comic-Con.
Right. And that's kind of what I was thinking too, is it'd be more
Which for us will actually be better.
Yeah. Because people that would be going to, and actually it might even open it up to more people have the opportunity to go, because a lot of people that go, it's because they're going to meet all the celebrities to sit in the panel rooms all day long. And for those that don't care about the other stuff, then we could see actual more Comic-Con fans come in looking for a lot of the new Bardstone stuff that we have. So,
and by then, geez, let's see, November. So we'll have Crimson Shadow, we'll have Poe 2 done, we'll have Crimson Shadows 2 done. I'll be close to around November. The Central will hopefully be out, and maybe if I'm amazing enough, which I don't know if I am, but maybe Crimson Shadows 3 also at that time. So, and then we could have Poe 3 also by then. So it's crazy. Boomtown Scabs could be there. So we could have a really awesome setup by then.
Yep. Well, while we're talking a little bit about that and stuff we've got, let's just do a quick update on Poe. We're at $2,177. We hit the first stretch goal, so we are on our way.
The 4x6 print, I believe it was, for Sean's artwork.
And that's it right there on the little picture there. So everybody that supports the Kickstarter for delivery stuff with the books hire is going to get that. So it's kind of cool. So
so we got. And also that's Sean Forney there, and Sean is currently working on one of the limited edition covers for Crimson Shadows 2, which will be launching April 7th. So that'll be exciting too. Can't wait to share that. He sent us the rough sketch of the layout, and loving what he's doing. And we got Kevin Meinert also doing a limited edition cover. He sent his preliminary over. That looks good. Another artist, Dale Gruber, sent over his piece, which looks amazing. Also, he's a friend of mine. Actually, Brett knows Dale. Yep. He may not know it. Do you remember?
I know Dale.
Yeah.
Of course, I know him as his alter ego.
His alter ego. He's with Package for Santa, and he was on he was a guest here for his company, him and his wife, Carrie, for Package for Santa. They were Santa's helpers.
Yeah, we got to talk to Santa on the phone that day, too.
We did. It was really good. So that's Dale. But he's contributing to an awesome cover. And then I'm doing a limited cover. Now we're in a little quandary here. So both Dale and I independently had our own inspirations. And I posted mine yesterday, and he sent me a message with his picture going, looks like we're on the same wavelength here. So we have very similar covers, very different styles though. So I'm torn as to whether I'm definitely keeping his for a limited edition. I might do his as the Ultra though. It'll be awesome either on a black and white or make it a foil.
I think they're both the same pose from different angles. And I like them both different. I think depending on how you color, how you present it, I think both would be very viable.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't want people to be like, oh, you guys just took each other's ideas. We truly did have our ideas completely independent of each other. So worst case scenario, I might not use mine as a cover and do mine for something else, but I'm probably going to do it as a cover because I don't think I'm going to do a sketch cover. I like to have 5 covers, and I'm not doing a sketch cover version of 2 since I have sketch covers of issue 1. So I'll let people order that if they want sketches done. So I think I just might keep them both anyways. Okay. So we'll see. But it was just funny.
It's funny. It happens though. You know, we see this all the time. People are drawing stuff up. It's like, oh, hey, I was doing almost the exact same thing.
Right.
And
but,
never talked to us before.
In the whole world of art, I mean, same with music. Eventually, you're going to create a song or an image that looks like it's part of something else. You know, it's just you know, there's only so many poses of a face you can do.
Right.
Unless you're Picasso, then you can do all kinds of stuff no one else is doing.
Wow.
I didn't think of putting the nose on the ear.
Well, you take enough drugs, you can do anything. So
very true, very true. So how was your week?
The week was pretty good. Worked, nothing exciting other than that. I mean, I did watch WandaVision. We'll talk about that shortly here. And other than that, I've been kind of going through one of my all-time favorite shows, Psych. I started from the first season and I'm just about through the last season here, and I'll watch the movies again. It's fun to revisit because there's a lot of episodes about, or a couple of us, like I don't remember seeing this at all, so I may have missed a couple here and there, but just a lot of fun to watch and so that's the ringtone I have on my phone. So I'm been a big fan for quite a long time. So,
right. Yeah, it's funny coming on here. Before the show started, I thought, oh, okay, what did I do this week? And I'm like, wait a minute, what did I do this week? It's like I can't even believe it's been a week since last week. It's like, I feel like we did last week's show like a day or two ago. So this week has just flown by. Some unexpected, I don't know about unexpected, but we have decided to take a vacation. So we're going to be fleeing the state of Michigan for a week, going down to Vegas. So I might not be available next week. So Brett's going to still do the show, maybe have a guest on or something. Actually, if Kevin's available, next week's show could be about Kickstarters and how to run them.
Yep. And maybe if Sean's watching, Sean Forney and Rodney Pike, anybody that wants to join in, let me know. I'd be happy to have you guys message me.
That might be a fun 4-way conversation.
I think it'd be fun. Yeah, I'd love to talk about Kickstarters, how we go about them, because it's kind of the next step after today's talk about lettering. And I got stuff ready to show off on that too. So,
yeah, Brett did our lettering for Crimson Shadows issue 1. He's going to be doing it for issue 2. He did the writing for Poe issue 2, which is our Kickstarter right now.
Yeah,
get us to that second stretch goal.
Oh,
Oh, whoa. But yeah, it's been exciting. But other than that, I did rewatch. Last night we watched Marvel Infinity War, the final
okay.
one, Endgame, and it was so good. It's been so long since I watched it. I forgot how good it was, and even like the part where Captain America gets the hammer and starts fighting Thanos, and I was like, it brought me back to in the theater how everyone was cheering during that fight scene, and then it made me realize something because Captain Marvel appears, and I hate her. I can't stand her, but I remember everyone cheering at the moment she got punched by Thanos.
Yeah, including women in the audience I was with did that.
Yes, and it just made me thinking of those two memories. It was like the cheering for Captain America beating the crap out of Thanos, followed by the cheering for Thanos knocking Captain Marvel clear off the screen. And I just thought, oh, that was so good. But anyways, but it was so good watching it. They did such a good job, which will tie into Scarlet Witch here, WandaVision. And what they did such a good job of ending that whole story arc. Where are we going next? And will people be satisfied with the WandaVision ending? We'll have to find out.
I think it's funny. I've been seeing a lot of posts of there's no second season. They're not announcing anything. I'm like, there never was. It's always been designed to be a one and done, and I think it's perfect. I think it's Kevin. So Kevin's chiming in. He's good game for next week, so I'll have Kevin on next week for sure. And I was actually talking about this last night. I went to dinner with a friend of mine, and I was talking with her and her boyfriend last night about it. He's a real big Marvel fan too, and he was like, "Yeah, all the stuff with this going on, it's leading to this, and they're opening up this." I said, "Yeah, it's really cool." And I said, "But thinking that everybody's been wanting another season," I'm like, "No, it's like set this up to move everything forward." And that's what I love that Marvel's doing is they kind of, as much as a lot of people like Shield, and Shield, I liked it for several years. It never became what it could have been, which was a complete tie into the movies. They did a little bit, and then it kind of went its own direction.
Well, to be fair, too, at that time, it worked masterfully how it tied into Winter Soldier.
Thor. Yeah, and Thor, Dark World.
Yeah, but after that was where they had the big fallout between Kevin Feige and the one that ran the television side of Marvel. So they had a big split internally, and they cut Shield off.
Now they've got it all together. So, and what they're doing now properly is all these series they keep announcing. So, like Loki, which we'll get in June now. They announced June for that. We've got Winter Soldier and Falcon starting on the 19th. So that'll be 2 weeks. Yep. I don't think what the date was today. So we get a little break in between before it starts a new series. All this stuff is building up and revealing stuff that's going to come out in all these movies going forward between Doctor Strange. I'm sure Morbius has got a part of that.
And let's not forget, we have the Black Widow movie still.
Yeah. And that's actually when it came up. It was funny. He brought about, Black Widow thinks, it's coming out. It's just too late now. I was like, no, I said, I believe there's things that are not meant to be, to anything that's going on in these series. They're setting stuff up to introduce the Black Widow project. We already know Scarlett Johansson's gone, so this is all setting all that up to move forward with some other characters. And I don't have a picture of it, but I saw a picture of what's his name, Hopper from Stranger Things, his character in costume as a toy, holding a toy version of himself. So I was like, that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm real excited for that. I think there's going to be stuff in that will definitely help with this next phase we're going into. And the change in what we're seeing and how this phase is going to come out, I think is a good change. Because originally they're talking about towards the end of the Avengers, run, and that it was going to be Captain Marvel centric. And I think they've gotten completely away from that. She'll have another movie.
I think she'll be a secondary character in some of the different movies, but I don't think she's going to be the Captain America they were planning for her to be as far as the center of the universe there. But we'll see.
Well, I guess we should talk a little WandaVision too, because as we're getting into this, because and there's spoilers if you haven't seen it. Hopefully you've seen it, but just to kind of jump to the end for a second, the cutscene was showing the White Vision. Which is taken from the comics. And that's also, I think, I saw a speculation on this, and it makes perfect sense. He's the first character that could be part of the Dark Avengers.
Yeah. So I hear the director here is coming out. I think they're trying to temper expectations a little. He's worried that a lot of people might be disappointed because there's so many really cool fan theories floating out there. He's like, well, when expectations get too high. Now, here's the thing. He compares it to Game of Thrones, how there were so many fan theories, people were disappointed. No, people were disappointed because it was bad. There's a difference between a fan theory not being met and the directors just tanking the show because they were lazy and wanted to move on to other projects. And that's what happened with Game of Thrones. They ran out of source material, got lazy, and they were already putting their eyes on they were being announced for the Star Wars trilogy they were going to get and these other projects they were going to get. They completely dropped the ball.
Yeah.
So it wasn't lack of meeting an expectation of a fan theory that so disappointed Game of Thrones fans. It was the lack. They went from top shelf steak to dog food. That's the problem.
Well, and I think I definitely glad to let people don't be disappointed, but in some ways, there's been a lot of fans that have been posting online and stuff like that and articles. They're wanting this like to wrap up something. I'm like, no, this has never been a wrap up. This is a prologue to everything coming forward. We talked about this for the longest time on the show here. All the movies basically are like episodes. So you got a 22 episode series in the original MCU through the first 3 phases. And now we're starting the second season in some ways, with this being like the prologue leading through these micro shows, the limited runs, and then into the movies that'll start getting those bigger episodes, basically.
Now, I am curious to see how things pan out, though. So many different ways they could go with multiverses coming in. We now have time travel and things. Hopefully they don't abuse the time travel aspect, but I'm reading reports Peggy Carter might be moved into the current time frame. You combine that with stories of Chris Evans in talks to maybe come back to the MCU. I wonder, could they be taking how Cap went back in time and lived his life out? Maybe they pull him in for a limited run with Peggy Carter in the MCU. Who knows? I don't know. But it'd be interesting. It's possible.
I enjoyed her show.
Steve Rogers is going all over time right now, putting stones back. And we know he decided not to come back. So he could have done something else along the way.
Yeah.
And if he goes into the future of our future, then it doesn't change the timeline because that timeline didn't happen. See what I mean?
Well, that's the thing is he at the end of what we saw when he's an old man, and he hands off the shield, basically he could still come back and in the future say, oh yeah. When they say, well, didn't you? And he's like, oh, that's probably me later on, and
right.
They'll do it there. But I enjoyed the Agent Carter show. They showed her building up what eventually would become S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything else. And I like the actress. I think she's going to be great. I'd love to see her do more. And hopefully when they bring it forward, if it's going to be in movie aspect or another series, it'd be a lot of fun. But I'd like to see that too.
They really hacked up the Peggy Carter series, I thought, in the way they rolled it out. The first season was awesome. Second season, I was looking forward to it. And then all of a sudden, I find out about it. It's like, wait a minute, it's halfway through the season already. I'm like, when did they even start it? I didn't even know it started. Like the way they rolled out season 2 was weird.
I think that tied into the whole TV movie controversy going on between who was the showrunners.
Maybe.
And then also, I believe it was ABC or Disney, ABC, whatever, was like, well, we're not seeing the ratings like this, so we'll just kind of just throw it out to not care about it.
Right. So because I didn't want to jump in the middle of the season, I'm like, well, I'll wait till it's done and rewatch it when it. But then after it was done, I couldn't find it. And then season 2 just kind of fell into a black hole for me. And it's like, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was good. And I was hoping for more. I liked it.
Do they have it on Disney Plus, the Peggy Carter series?
I'll pull it up on my phone and check on that. But
if they do, I'll watch it on there because I really enjoyed. I thought I really enjoy her as Peggy Carter. She does a great job.
Oh yeah, and it's Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell. Yep. To me, she looks like she could be sisters with Daisy Ridley, who was Rey in Star Wars. They have similar facial features.
Yep, there it is. 2 seasons.
Okay. Cool.
So you got both seasons on there. Yep. So. Yeah. So definitely check that out. I may have to go back and just rewatch the whole thing from the beginning. So there's 10 episodes for the second season. So so it's not too bad lengthwise. So, but yeah, so I mentioned
That's what she
about
said.
yeah. So WandaVision though, and with the white vision,
Yeah.
and
So
that's kind of that was the cut scene, the in credit scene. But interesting episode. I'm loving Agatha. I think she's gonna be. I'm hoping they're keeping Catherine Hahn around for more stuff down the road.
So people have point out some interesting things. Marvel has been almost surgical in their accuracy on continuity in so many things in multiple movies and stuff. And what they've noticed is in this scene where Agatha goes through Wanda's memories, there were a lot of changes. Like in the room at Avengers headquarters, it wasn't the same as how it was in the movies. So there was speculation as to, did Marvel make a mistake or was this intentional? I'm leaning towards intentional. But, is it just a reflection of faulty memories? Like you just forget certain key items, or is it Agatha's powers aren't where they should be, or what?
I think it's a little mix of it's how Wanda remembers. I think it's also Wanda, what she can manipulate is in certain aspects is going to be the look and feel of stuff from her perspective.
From her perspective, right? You might forget that something was in a certain spot. I don't know, but I thought that was interesting. But I really thought it was interesting. This was really the first time we get the name Scarlet Witch for her.
Oh yeah, at the end. And now Scarlet Witch is not just a code name; it's actually a designation of basically someone that was prophesied to appear and have powers that basically she's very strong. She just doesn't understand her powers. I mean, Agatha's looking at her going, "You didn't recognize roots. How come you don't know this stuff? How come you don't know?" She doesn't know the fundamentals of magic like Agatha does, because her magic came differently.
Right. Yeah. And also, I wonder if we're going to see a shift now in the Marvel movies. If you've noticed, we don't get the code names. It was Clint, not Hawkeye. It was we never heard Black Widow called Black Widow. We never, so many, most of Sam was Sam. He wasn't the Falcon. You know what I mean? So I wonder, is this going to be a shift to using code names for the characters? Like she'll be this, at least the comic book name, Scarlet Witch. We'll have Black Widow. We'll have, I wonder if they're going to start doing that. Even Hawkeye, Clint, he calls his daughter Hawkeye in Endgame. I forgot he did that. He goes, nice shot, Hawkeye. So I wonder if we're going to see that transition occur.
We might, and that's something that was something they couldn't use in the Civil War movie because of the fact that in the comics, the Civil War was people were hiding behind their names, of like a Scarlet Witch or a Spider-Man. Nobody knew their real world except for Tony Stark. He felt that everybody should know who everybody is, kind of as like just to not hide anymore. But of course, the only one that's really been hiding in the current MCU has been Peter Parker with Spider-Man, and he got revealed at the end of the last Spider-Man movie. So that's one of those things where people knew who he was, and then you get like Doctor Strange. Well, his last name is Strange. So.
Right. I like how they played that off in the movie where he's like, it's strange. He's like, okay. He's like, no, my name is Doctor Strange.
So
that Parker. Oh, we're using our fake names.
Yeah. and that's the thing. It's like they knew who Iron Man is. They knew who Captain America was. So they knew who he was. Steve Rogers. It was just they never dealt with the alternate personalities and things like that. Or
I love how the Hawkeye goes by his name everywhere, Clint. But he's the one with the secret house, secret family. But he uses his real name for everything.
Or does he?
Or does he?
Is his really name Clint?
Yeah, maybe. It's not Clint, it's Jeremy Renner. What?
Yeah. Is that an actor? Yeah. So I really like this. I like it's funny, we've had a couple now almost flashback episodes of this series. But this one was a lot different. It took her back further beyond the series and pulled from the movies. So we saw that stuff going on, as well as things that we didn't see. So we got to see her go to try to reclaim Vision's body. And then we realized that she didn't reclaim his body. So that's not his body. That's inside her dome.
Also, what we also find out is that military guy lied.
Yes.
Because he showed a sequence of events on video that was re-edited to look like she broke in. She was granted access. She didn't steal the body. They said she stole the body. So they're lying about her, the guy from Sword. So they're trying to set her up as the aggressor. So does this mean he's actually under control of Agatha to make her look bad? I don't know. Or
I think I think he's his own thing. I think he's as Sword's trying to replace as the controlling military arm of the superheroes. I mean, they're the ones that created the new Vision, which of course since we saw that she didn't take the body, so they they were able to take whatever they had left and recreate, even though they said they were just dismantling it.
Right. So, and like you said, so we're going to have two Visions now.
Yeah.
So the one in the WandaVision world and the one outside. Is that going to be like a zombie version of Vision, do you think? Because he was all gray.
I think that was because as he left the protection of her bubble, he was kind of being pulled back. Because more I thought about it, I was like, okay, he started to look like
I mean, at the end, when they showed them bringing him back to life.
No, the white one?
The white one. Yeah, he didn't have his color.
No, he's a wholly different version of the Vision. So he probably will not have the full memories of the Vision we knew, but he may have the initial Jarvis memories. Okay. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So this was episode 8 just now, right? The one we saw?
I believe so. Yes, we got one more episode this week.
Left.
Yep.
One left. I hope it's a long episode.
I saw the time. It's like 54 minutes.
Okay, so of course the credits are like 15 minutes long on these. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do get long credits. So, but it's supposed to be the longest episode of the season. And I'm sure if there's going to be anything in the credits as like a bonus scene, it's going to be something that's going to lead to the next series.
I'm predicting a movie. It'll either be that, or some are speculating, but this might be those fan theories that the directors were going to get too excited for. Some are speculating it'll be the reveal of Magneto and Professor X, maybe, which would be her real dad, which wasn't her real dad in this universe. So they still kept that with. So we saw her with her parents. Her parents are dead. Yeah.
So they've changed that aspect of her origins. I
Unless
doubt we're
going to make her adopted.
Yeah, we're not going to see anything X-Men related, in my opinion. I think it's all been hinted at, but we're not going to see anything. I think if we see anything, it's strictly multiverse related.
Yeah. I think it'll be a Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier teaser is what I think it'll be.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I don't think they're going to have those big reveals like that. I think those are the stuff we'll see more towards the movies. Mm-hmm. They've hinted a lot of the stuff here, and see what happens with this final showdown, because it looks like there's going to be a final showdown with Scarlet Witch and Agatha. So, and
we got to see Agatha's origin story too, which was really cool.
I like how they handled that. They we didn't have to have a whole episode or even a whole movie behind it. We just got the first like 10 minutes. And we saw that, it was the Coven of Witches, and it was led by her mother, which, if you notice that her mother, when she went to put her powers to try to drain her, a crown appeared on her mother. So it showed that she was like the head witch and all that. So I think that was kind of cool. I was really found that kind of neat how they showed her kind of absorbing the powers. And same way Scarlet Witch did. Scarlet Witch absorbed the powers from the Mind Stone. So they have very similar powers. So I think we're looking at two competing witches that, even though Scarlet Witch is powerful as she is, she doesn't truly understand her powers.
Well, same with in the Agatha origin story, we learned Agatha was able to defeat all those witches by herself, and she was untrained at the time. She was saying, just teach me how to use these powers. Yeah. So she was a natural way back then, and that was 400 years ago. So she's had 400 years of practice now to hone her skills.
Well, and she got the book from her mom, so she probably and she said she practiced and learned this stuff, so this was nothing new. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't eventually see a series more based on Agatha to follow that aspect of her storyline. So, but I like to see her run. I like Catherine Hahn. I think the character's great, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. So,
For sure.
Excellent.
Good stuff. This Friday will be seeing the last episode.
So now, I guess we should start talking about, because it's already 25 till. Talk about a little bit about the comic book lettering.
Comic book lettering.
I got a fair amount of stuff to share.
Good.
I pulled up a couple things here, so you'll see kind of my head moving back and forth between my two screens and that. So, so I'm going to share this first screen here. I'm just going to give you my little basics of stuff that I did with the Crimson Shadows #1. So what I've got is my Illustrator program, and there is the very first page of Crimson Shadows 1. Mm-hmm. So it's just without any. This is actually the finished page. I just took away the lettering in that. But it's one of the things that when Scott and I were talking, this one has doesn't have dialogue per se, but it's got thoughts. And a lot of people do different thought bubbles and stuff like that. And what I did here was pull it up here. Come on. There we go. I created a space, which you can see there. And here, I'll bring it up a little bit bigger here. There we go. And this right here is kind of the thought bubble area. And because we're dealing with this character, Julius, here, and Julius is at this point a vampire. That's no spoiler. It's revealed there. So I chose to go with a more a red tone for the wording, as well as the different lettering style. That's the interesting about lettering is you can use the lettering to create a feeling instead of just the basic words you see on the screen.
Just like in movies, George Lucas was great at doing it, is using music. Just by having a tone or a sound, what character is approaching or whatever. He would have themes or for different characters or moods or what actions. So just by the induction of a certain sound, it invokes a certain emotion. Well, we don't have sound in comics, but we do have lettering, and Brett chose very well, I thought, the type of font to use for Julius. So when he's talking, it gives a feel to what his words are.
Yeah. So this was kind of, the first page when I was first going over this, I laid out the dialogue and you basically type it. So what you do is this is Illustrator. I don't get too much into this, depending on what program you're using. I use Illustrator, and I'll explain why a little more as we're going, but it's because of a couple of books I read. But one is Comic Book Lettering by Comic Craft Way. And the reason I said to use Illustrator is you don't get the muddiness look when you do it in Photoshop. Photoshop, you have to render it down, and then so it kind of changes it and gets a more jagged, where it keeps it more smooth lettering. So it prints a lot smoother and cleaner when you actually get ready to send off to the printers. And I've seen people use it both ways and look just fine. So definitely use whatever you can afford to use. And there is some free programs out there that are Illustrator-like that you can use for lettering and that. But basically with lettering, though, when you grab your text there, you drop it in anywhere you need to. You have different layers over on the side here, and from here you can actually just type in whatever word you need. Like that just drops that name there for some reason. So and of course right now, because of what I have for the font, it's just gonna be a basic font. But with the letters, you can definitely highlight it. You can change the fonts and go through everything. And I don't want to get too much into the technical aspects of this because it may be different what you use. But with the lettering, that you find a way where you need to place it, how you need to adjust it, and with different programs, you make it a little bigger, wider. You can change the angles, however you need to, and then there's different boxes and balloons you can use. The ellipse tool is what you use mostly for doing the different creating your thought bubble, and then you can, of course, then give it the white and the black around there and add different things to it. So again, not going to get too much into the semantic stuff because that's just like what I like to do is initially lay out what I'm doing, get the sizes right. For most dialogue, you're looking at like a 12 point. Between 10 and 11 is really just better. You can adjust it like that too, but I'd recommend actually just adjusting the type itself. So, and then let me switch over to another page here. So here's a page I finished up that has actual dialogue and mix of thought balloons too. I like this page a lot just because of the detail of the imagery, as well as the fact that it's not a lot of dialogue on this one, but it gave a good example of the two different types you can see down here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Here's the thought bubble. This is Julius talking about wondering what's happening to him. As we know, he's a vampire. the sun feels so hot, and then going from here. And of course, here you see, you see how the tail comes off here. There's different ways of doing the tail from the balloons. You can actually loop them, do different designs, stuff like that. I kind of just did the straight. Here it is, and that's kind of been my style on all this. And of course, I adjust the balloons depending on what's going on. And this right here, you can tell this is going off camera, but the tail doesn't cross the images here, so it's not from this dialogue from this box here. So, and those are just a couple of basics on the different ones here. And then I also had this page here, which has a little bit more of the thoughts versus the different bubbles there. And of course, depending on what's going on, it's like, here's the thoughts were done in the red because this is inner thoughts, right. And it's more of the demon versus the actual black, which is the outer dialogue.
So one thing to point out too is, just as we were talking about, like choosing your fonts and stuff, you're going to want continuity throughout your book. So right up front, Brett came up with a style that he felt fit the tone and mood of the book. Also, he had different fonts for different characters to accent what the different tones would be. And then he saved all of those settings so he could keep doing those settings throughout the book. Another thing I really liked about what Brett did is the word bubbles and thought bubbles themselves. You're going to want to choose what your style is. And he chose a really cool style. Talk about what your decisions on.
Well, a couple of things I did was, like, the bubbles for the thoughts, I kind of wanted to be a little more abstract because it's kind of these abstract thoughts he's having. But then when we get into actually seeing the demonic creature actually talking, I went to more jagged edges on the box. I did a black with a black instead of white, and did a red for the letter, like you saw there, and it kind of made it pop out and give it more of a dark feel to it, with the blood red of it. Of course, calling a book Crimson Shadows helps to have a crimson in the dialogue too. So
whenever Dracula is speaking, he has a black word bubble. So even when and a very specific font. So when that character speaks off screen or off panel, you see that bubble, you will know who it is.
Yeah. Even
without seeing him. So I love the choices Brett made. Also, you chose to make it semi-transparent.
That's something talking with Jalen Warner years ago about. He did that something about that because it allows you to still see the artwork behind the dialogue, but the dialogue still is there, so you can easily read it. And I love that doing that aspect with this. It doesn't take away from whatever. I letter my own books most of the time. So when I Expendables, Carl books, Boomtown Scabs, I did my own lettering, and I did it for a couple of reasons. One was I kind of change up the dialogue if I need to, based on what the artist had drawn. If I felt like, okay, this is too wordy, or I need to add a couple words in, or spread a dialogue over a couple panels because the way they decided to break up the action. But then when I started doing it with the clear, almost translucent background, you could see through, and it didn't take away from anything that they had drawn back there. So someone that spent time on something is still kind of seen, and like, oh, I spent 2 hours on that, and it's covered by a word balloon. And which happens a lot, even in the big name books. You Marvel, DC, it happens all the time. It's like, oh, what a great art page, and then you got the dialogue, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we don't get to see that.
And that's the struggle in writing, when in the process of writing your story. You have to understand your medium, and this is not a novel. It's not meant to be 5,000 words or whatever. So it's finding that balance between what is the minimum number of words you need on the page, but still convey the story. So you're finding that balance, because if you have too much dialogue, too much words, that's also going to put off the reader. So it's finding that right balance between the two.
And that's the thing too, is I've seen some comics where they're just way too wordy. It's like, remember, you're not writing prose, you're writing comics. And a lot of ways, I've always treated, I always write my stories as a script. So I have my dialogue in that, and with the action of what's going on. So I write as a movie script, and then from there you can adjust it. But you have to be careful to not get so wordy that you're almost writing prose. Right. If you got a guy talking a big panel of stuff, well, maybe you need to have just a big panel of just the dialogue, and let the artist know, or if you're the artist, don't draw anything there, because you have to cover up with all the words. But you can say too much and board your comic book reader. So comics should kind of move a little at a good pace. and go from there. So, but one of the books I recommend to start off when you get into lettering is this one here. It is the comic book lettering, the Comicraft way. This is something that I got turned on to when I first started doing comics, and it came out around the same year I started getting into actually working on comics, which was 2003 to 2004. And John and I were working on comics, and he said, "Hey, there's this great book I saw," and that's what I have here. I've had this book ever since. I've had it since 2004, actually. And I love it. It goes through now. Some of it may be a little outdated in terms of the mechanics of using the software, but the basics are all there. And nice thing is they give you it's fully illustrated. It's a comic book, and it teaches you how to do everything, the different dialogues, the different lettering.
Just so you know, you're holding it up, but you're not on the screen.
Sorry. Yeah. So it's
you got to put yourself on the screen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, see, I forgot what I was doing.
There you go.
Okay, there we are. So here we go. So here's, and it's a comic book, and it's a comic book that teaches you how to letter comic books, and it shows the different things from adding in special effects, to doing the different dialogue, word balloons, how different things you can do there. So there's a lot of cool effects and tips and tricks in here. And again, it's not the end all be all. This is the only way to go. But this is my starting point for lettering comics. Scott's gonna fall asleep if I don't.
I know. I don't know why I'm yawning so much.
Yeah, but
I need more coffee. It's empty.
But and that's, I would say you start there, and then the nice thing about them is they still have a website, and it's Comicraft, and let me pull it up here. So let me add that to the screen. There it is. That's their basic Comicraft website, and it talks a little bit about who they are, what they've done over the years, the books they have, some testimonials. J.J. Abrams gave a testimonial,
What?
So yep, Jeff Loeb, Marcel Walker. So people that have done that, and then there's like fonts and balloon tricks. So they have other sites that you can go to.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about the website.
Yep. So there's Balloon Tales, and pop it in here. So you see this one here. So and then I have another site I'll show you guys, but this online guided comic book production. And again, a lot of this information actually is found there, but I still recommend getting the book. It's only $10 at Amazon. Well worth having in your library. But there's articles, interviews, tips on lettering, production, publishing, glossary, book font. So I mean, even with the fonts, you still get more stuff here. And that's the other thing about is they have a comicbookfonts.com is a good site for finding fonts to purchase that work for different things. That's why I've got a few fonts from them over the years. And then one of the other ones that I've always gone to that I recommend for fonts, they even have a lot of free ones to use for independent publishing, is Blambot. Blambot's another great lettering site, and they have a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of free ones. You can purchase them, and when you purchase them, you actually purchase them to use in any publication you want to use, and stuff like that. But it's like that design, dialogue, sound effects, licensing info. So they got all the information
cool
you need there.
They separate it in those categories.
Yeah, they even do services. So they have stuff they can do for you. So like if you're looking for logo design, here's resources, how to do everything. Again, a lot of stuff is just available online, and I've been using Blambot as long as I've been using the comic book guide here, lettering. And I keep this handy. In fact, I've been tempted just to buy another one, make sure I always have one, but I'm still here. I go through this, and this is what I've always recommended. So that's a good starting point on that. And it's still $10. I mean, for $10, you can't beat the amount of information you get out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, while you're saying that, I am like, I better grab those websites. So I got blambot.com, and what was the other one? Comicraft?
Comicraft, yep. And I'll drop some links in for you.
Is it 2 C's or 1 C for Comicraft?
It is let me go back here. It is, let me see, balloontails.com is part of theirs. And then there it is, Comicraft. So COMICRAFT.com. And that's just their basic jumping off point.
Yeah.
And then there's the fonts, and Balloon Tales have the links.
There we go.
There. And then Blambot. So
perfect. Those are great sites. Thanks for sharing those.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of great stuff out there. And then another one is to definitely watch for was Bob Hickey's. We got the Blue Line Pro, has a lot of information through their magazines, all that stuff they do. So
great supplies you can order while you're there.
Oh yeah, and then like even the comic book fonts one here. Let me take it there real quick. And again, it's good to look at multiple sites and check different things out. But this is part of the Comic Crash, so this is their comic book fonts. And
here's the other
again,
thing, people. If you're serious about making your comic book, a lot of people, you only want to do the free stuff. It's okay to spend a little money on your book to make it really awesome. And buying a font isn't that expensive. So, you know.
Oh no, it's like this
font,
one here. Here's a nice font pack. I mean, there's different ones out there, and you can get
pull that up on the screen here. I'll add it there.
There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. And so like here, it's like you got a bunch of different fonts in here. You get 12 complete fonts for $99, and these are high quality to use.
Right.
So
and that's not really expensive when you look at what you're looking to do with this stuff. You know, you're looking for. You got to remember, if you're making a comic book for for commercial use to sell, put quality into it. You know, it will make all the difference. And, you know, more people will receive it well. You'll do better in your Kickstarters. You know, when people see a high quality book on there, they're more likely to support it.
Yep. And some of the there's higher dollar ones or smaller. You find some stuff within your budget that'll work with you on that.
Yeah.
And I definitely said I recommend the two sites, the Comic Crash font sites, and definitely the Blambot one. I've done very well with. Found some really cool stuff, and you know, it's a nice having that you don't have to go out and design it yourself. There's so many people for years have had to design their own, you know, fonts. So it's like even here, like just dialogue fonts is the one too you got to watch. A lot of people want to use Comic Sans, and the problem with that you're gonna get a very ugly looking font because it's not. It's basically it's supposed to be designed to be like a comic book, but it never really was, and the quality was not good. But even just looking at this one here, you can see all these different ones on Blambot that they have available.
Now I will admit. And I'm going to bring some hate upon myself. I don't see a problem with the Comic Sans.
It's all right. It's just when you do.
But if you use it, everyone
comes across
in the
little
will come out. They'll be like, you use Comic Sans. It's like Comic Sans is the Nickelback of the font universe.
Pretty much. I mean, I used it initially to start off because I didn't know any better, and I found better fonts out there. Right. And a lot of it is just the quality of font itself is not going to lend to printing.
Right. I just think it's funny how when that is like the whipping post of all fonts.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this, if you made your book and you had it Comic Sans, but I enjoyed your book, who cares? A lot of times you're not going to worry about that if you're getting a good story out of it. So
yeah.
But there's a lot of cool stuff here. So
great thing. Same with brushes. You know, we didn't even cover brushes when we talk about inking and stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's some great websites with different Photoshop brushes that you can download to use to create textures or looks that you want for your book. And a lot of times those brushes, you got to pay for them because somebody put the time and effort to create them, but you can get some awesome effects from these different brushes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this talks about real quick the Blambot font licenses because when you're using their free ones or paid ones, it gives you the idea of how that works and what's allowed to be used for that. So, and it talks a little bit about that here. So, if you have any questions, you can email them. Nate Picos is the gentleman behind Blambot, and he's been doing this for a very long time. So, and I love the fact that he's got how to install fonts. A lot of people don't know how to install onto their system.
Right.
And you want to try to install your fonts before you actually start lettering because you want to, if you do it afterwards, you have to go back and restart all your stuff just to get it updated. So,
right. Very, very cool. Well, thanks for sharing all that.
So that's my lettering in a nutshell.
Like a hero and a half shell. Yeah. Well, let's, I think that's a good spot to leave off on the lettering.
Yep.
We got, just a reminder, we got the Poe Macabre Master issue 2 going. We've passed the first stretch goal. We're on our way to the second. 58 awesome backers have joined us already. Kevin added recently some added add-ons, I should say. Medals. He added some medals. So right here, 4x6 metal prints. Nice. So you can add these on for $8 each. Those medals look sweet.
Well, that one there on the left is the cover for the metal cover. So if you missed out on that, you still have an option to get that at least as a metal print. And that's a really cool looking print. That's a Sean Forney drawing.
That's right. And then the other one was the artwork Kevin used for issue number 1 of Macabre Master. He changed up the background to a nice red. That's going to show up really cool on the medals also. So if you've already pledged and you want these, you bump your pledge up $8 or 16 if you want both, and you can add them on. So that'll be a nice little feature there. So there's ways where you can increase what you're getting right now. But we're at 2177, 58 backers, 7 days to go. We're going to be meeting tonight at 7 p.m. We're going to be streaming live and going over this. I'm going to try to think of something fun. Nobody took me up last week on my drawing. I was a little sad.
So if you guys are watching, join us tonight. Scott will do something tonight. He'll come up with a promo idea that if you were to if you wait till tonight to support the book, or if you support, I would say this, let's say if they support it today now through 8 o'clock tonight, so you can do it anytime, and just let Scott know. Scott will throw in a sketch, a nice 4x6 original pencil sketch of a character of his choosing.
It'll be actually marker and ink. So let's see, let's make this big here. So like here's a sample here. This is my Frankenstein that's going to be revealed in Crimson Shadows 2. But this is a 4x6 sketch, so you can see what marker and inks look like for me. So anybody who does a minimum of either a $20 donation or if you increase your bid by get those 2 medals, $16. I'll throw this in today. So if you do it today, I will do it. And today is March 3rd of 2001.
And you have until 8 p.m. Eastern time.
8 p.m. Eastern time, according to Michigan time. I don't know. Those are all my legal disclaimers. So, I'll throw in a 4x6 sketch for anybody who does that today.
Excellent. Cool. So, hey, join us tonight. And just so you guys can...
Also, Brett put together a little promo. Are we doing that today now, or are we gonna?
You want to do the Crimson Shadows one?
Yeah, you put together a really cool little teaser for April 7th.
Yep, I didn't put a date on this, but so I'll run this one, and then I'm gonna run the Poe one, and then I'll run this out. So you guys watch these videos for a minute.